This is the Mokwheel Onyx step-through e-bike. It features full suspension and a mid-drive motor with 1300 watts of power. It also has 4-inch wide fat tires, 4-piston brakes, a Shimano 10-speed drivetrain, an optional throttle, and a dropper post, among other things. But that's enough talking. It's time to go ride it. Okay, we are on the RC track for some hot laps. I'm going to start out on throttle only, see what kind of lap time I can pull off, and then I'll start pedaling to see how much different that is. I am in assist level 5 and in the middle gear, about on the rear cassette. Feels pretty good for this track, but we'll see for real once I start pedaling. And there's a little bit of a delay coming out of the corners before the motor kicks on, making those jumps a little harder, but able to get a little bit of air. Just takes some getting used to know when I'm going to get that power out. Let's see what the lap times say. I had a 19.4 with the throttle and an 18.6 pedaling, so I was almost a second faster. Now I'm going to try with the power off. I did go to a lower gear since I'll need all the help I can get to be able to pull out of these corners. A little bit of front end slide in that one, so I had to take my foot off. Oh, just about clearing that one. Using a whole lot more energy now, but I think I should be somewhat close still, hopefully. Well, I had a 19.1 without throttle or assist at all, so I was right between the throttle and the full pedal assist. Now it's Hannah's turn to see what she can do. She's going to start out like me, using throttle only. She did just get a few practice laps in, but she has not spent much time on this bike at all. Probably should have put a little more time in on it first to get comfortable, but that's a true test of a bike, how quick you can feel like you can control it, right? It does look a little tall in the front for her, but she's handling it just fine. Pretty good first lap there. Now she will start pedaling, and we'll see if she goes any faster with that. I do think for me, I was possibly on the brake just a little bit, which cuts out the motor. I would prefer to take those sensors off so I have more control, or at least take the back one off so you still have the front to stop the motor if needed. But that's how it comes out of the box, so I figured we would leave it like that for now. How's it feel?
Pretty good after getting a little time on it.
She had a 22.8 with the throttle and a 21.8 with the pedals, so she was 1 second faster pedaling, pretty similar to what I was. We are at the hill, and Hannah's going to start out using throttle only. On this one, it does matter what gear you are in on the rear, but it just pulled up like that, like it was nothing.
I zoomed right up that, no problem.
Looks so easy, I have to try. Here's the true test since I weigh quite a bit more, but it feels like it's going to make it without a problem. A little slower, but I'm up. Let's try that front brake again. Oh, decent for being brand new, but might want 2 fingers for a little better hold. I might as well pedal also just so you can see the difference in power. And once again, no problem. See if I can roll back from there. That's what really matters, right? A little sloppy, but got it done. Time to get a little more technical. I'm on the RC Endurocross track now, and that was a bit of a harsh hit. I think the stem moved when I landed that on the front end, but I'm still getting around all right. Just gotta smooth it out here. Whoa, not smoothing it out here. I'll try on throttle only. I am riding pretty sloppy right now. This is challenging, but I want to see if I can make it over this tube using just the throttle, and it does. Might as well go this direction too, and I am struggling a little bit with the takeoff power. It's almost too aggressive out of these corners to control as easily as I would like, but you probably won't have that issue if you're just cruising around town or on trails, but stuff like this, you want as much control as you can get, and when you get a little too much, it could make it more challenging actually, but still getting around all right, getting used to it now, and having a bit of fun on this rough track. Go to throttle only, no problem. I'm not sure if you will be able to see this or hear this in the video, but there's a bit of play and some creaking in the stem, so hopefully I can just tighten it up a bit more and get that to go away, but it feels pretty tight right now. I'm going to get a little more technical now with a bit of a trials line and some more hill climbing, but with logs and rocks, A few hops in there. Actually, hopped around that corner better than I expected. Hopefully, oh no, oh no. I think I probably would have been able to hang on to that, but as you can see, the handlebars are no longer straight with the front wheels, so it got a little sketchy. This stem needs to be tightened up some more. There are a couple other bolts here that I need to crank down now once I get it straightened out. Well, I got it as tight as I could with the tools that I have with me, and now I'm trying it on throttle only, but use the brake there a little bit, and that cut the power too much. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull off this line with just the throttle, but that's a much better attempt there. A little bit more brake, square this up, and hopefully not have an issue. There we go, much better. From trials to trail, drop and jump into a berm, no problem. Let's see how that suspension feels through the rock garden. A little bouncy, but smoothed it out pretty well. Well enough, I guess. That's been a good test of the power and suspension, and I would say it is an improvement over most of the rear hub bikes I have tested, that's for sure. The front fork is a little soft and does have some topping out to it, but the rear shock feels pretty good for what it is and is handling what I am putting it through. The power is a little more than I expected. It is more controllable and just has more going to the rear wheel than a rear hub motor for sure, and then some other mid-drive motors as well. One more line through the trials area before we move on. Telephone pole, log, rocks, it's got it all. Let's keep going though. We are heading to our other woods now for some mountain bike trails since we hit some tracks and trials lines. Now it's time to see where it really shines, right? It should actually be really good here on our lanes. You can cruise as fast as you want to, and that suspension should soak up any bumps so you can get around the farm with speed and fun. From the lane back into the woods for some fun mountain bike trails. I'm going to try doing some follow cam with Hannah, and I haven't tried this setup I'm using like this before, so it might be a challenge just to film, but hopefully it turns out cool to watch, and hopefully Hannah likes cruising these trails on this bike, since people will likely want to ride some mountain bike trails, and she's getting around just fine so far. These trails are nice and mellow, which should suit this bike well. I don't think you'd want to be taking it on anything too crazy technical, because it's not going to be as good as a higher end bike for those trails, but depending on what you're after, it should be able to get you around and have an enjoyable time out in the woods. She's in assist level 2, and how's that feel?
Good.
Controllable enough for you?
Oh yeah, like I'm not gonna bump it into any trees.
Yeah, it looked a little aggressive when she first took off on assist 5 or when she was using the throttle, but I think she's getting the hang of it now. We have the seat in the lowest setting. The dropper is compressed as well. How does the seat height feel for you?
Good enough for me, I can just touch the ground.
And for me, it's not quite long enough. She's about 5'4", and at its lowest setting, it's good enough for her. Oh, big log there, but no problem. But for me, at 6 feet tall, the dropper post is not long enough. So if I'm going to do a long ride, I will not want to put quite as much effort in. Luckily, it's an e-bike, so it doesn't matter as much, but I already have knee problems, so I wouldn't want to do a long, hard effort, or I might end up with some knee pain. But that's a pretty easy fix, since you can just get a longer seat post for it. I do like that it comes with a dropper though. That is definitely a nice touch. It's not a high-end one that has a lever on the handlebars. It's just a lever under the seat, but it's a lot better than not having that option at all. You are quite a bit lighter than me. How does the suspension feel for you?
It feels good for the most part. The front's a little wobbly, but overall it feels good.
Good enough for the trails we're riding right now?
Oh yeah.
And probably good enough for most people that are going to be riding a bike like this. You are a little spoiled by your main bike, which has much higher end components on it than this one, so that is to be expected that you don't quite like the feeling of the suspension on this one compared to what you're used to. But the real question is, can you get through the sand at the pond? Should be no problem going down. A little slide, but fat tires kick in and she makes it. Slight uphill this time, but she locks into that groove and powers through. Here is another look at the size, and as you can see, it is a good thing that it is a step-through frame, because if it wasn't, she wouldn't have much room up there to stand, and the front does look pretty high for her, but she's making it work. Now it's my turn for a sand shot. I'm going to see if I can get a nice moto rut going through the sand here. Well, it was pretty fun cruising through the sand and making a rut. I was just using the throttle only, and it has pretty good power for that. Fat tires really dug in and made a nice rut. I could actually stay in pretty well. Didn't slide out or roost too much, but it was a good time. Now it's time to move on to the streets. Let's see how fast this thing goes. I should mention that I went into the settings and maxed out all the speeds, so this typically should cut out around 20, which I just hit on throttle only, but since I changed those settings, I am continuing to climb, so I will shift up the rear cassette, and this does have a shift sensor, so you can just hold the throttle wide open and not worry about damaging the drivetrain while shifting. Pretty nice feature, I think, for a bike like this. And I am maxed out in the top gear and hitting 26 now. Feels like it probably has a little more in it, 27, but I might not get max speed where I'm at unless I tuck. So I'll try that. I just hit 28. Yeah, I hit 30 in a full tuck, just barely. So it gets you a little faster than that 20-mile-an-hour cutoff. Actually just hit 31. Now I will start pedaling and see where that takes me. I am at 28, 29. Should be able to get past 30. There's 30. Putting quite a bit of effort in. I do wish the seat was higher so I could be a little more comfortable doing this, but there's 32. It's probably 33. It's probably about all I'm going to get to right now, but it feels like it does have more in it if you want to put the effort out. There's 34. Let's hit 35. There it is. Now I just want to compare what the speed on the bike says with the GPS on my phone, and it looks like it is within about 1 mile an hour or so. So it's good to know that they aren't trying to lie to you too bad by saying the bike is going faster than it really is. If you want to find out more about this bike or pick one up for yourself, you can check out the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.